Hello again, and welcome back. Final Fantasy II is often called the dark horse of the series. It changes quite a bit of what Final Fantasy I established, and it was the first to have a full narrative and predetermined characters. While this may not be everyone's favorite Final Fantasy, the series still takes ideas and inspirations from this game quite regularly, Final Fantasy XIV included. And so we'll be looking at all the references to Final Fantasy II in Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy II was released in Japan for the Famicom system in 1988, but was not released in the West until 2003 when it appeared on a bundle with Final Fantasy I titled Final Fantasy Origins. The box art was again done by Yoshitaka Amano, and it depicts the main character of Final Fantasy II, Firion. In Final Fantasy XIV, Firion's outfit is available by being subscribed to the game for a total of 240 days. There is also the Wind-Up Firion, a minion that can be bought at the achievement shop in New Gridania. This shop is also where you can find the Wild Rose Barding, a chocobo barding that is based off of Firion's design. And now before we move on to any story references, we'll be looking at a certain battle theme that appears quite regularly in Final Fantasy XIV. This is the battle theme of Final Fantasy II. Let's take a listen. This theme can be heard numerous times, such as the Hildebrand questline and the Hall of the Novice. So now we'll be looking at the story references to Final Fantasy II. When you first join the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, they give you a password, Wild Rose. This is a reference to when you first meet Hilda in Altair, and gives you that same password. Up next, there is a race of giant beavers that exist in Ilmeg that your character seems to understand. This is a reference to the race of giant beavers that exist also in Final Fantasy II. The character Guy is the only person that can speak to beavers, giving us the iconic line, "Guy speak beaver." And finally, as of this recording, Endwalker has yet to be released, but information about it has been known. The 8-man raid content in Endwalker is known as the Pandemonium. While not much else is known, the name comes from the final dungeon of Final Fantasy II. Hopefully this means that we see more Final Fantasy II references. But until then, that's all we have for Final Fantasy II references. It's not a whole lot, but it's great to see that Final Fantasy II still lives on in the future games of the series. Anyway, as always, if you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. It would mean a lot. Thanks for watching, and next we'll look at the world of Final Fantasy III.